Now call the City Council regular meeting to order for March 11th, 6 p.m. Please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. The invocation will be given by Councilwoman Brittany McGuire.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening, Lord. We thank you for your Holy Spirit, Lord, that we're asking you to come to this meeting to speak to each and every one of us. Lord, we're asking you to rule over this meeting, for you to give us the ideas that we need to have, give us the understanding that we need to have. I thank you for your good health, Lord, for your protection, for not only each and every one of us, but also our city. We thank you for the many blessings that you've poured out upon our city already to date, Lord, and the ones that are coming in the future. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. Madam Clerk, if you'll please call the roll.
Yes, sir. Councilmember McGuire.
Here.
Councilmember McCure.
Here.
Councilmember Taylor.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Bernard.
Here.
Mayor Anderson.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. C will be the consent agenda. This will be for items 4 through 7. Be looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda, items C4 through C7.
Okay, do we have a second?
I second it.
Any questions? Seeing none, we'll call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire.
Yes.
Councilmember McCure.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item number 8, this will be a public hearing and second reading for ordinance number 01-2024.
An ordinance of the City of Avon Park, Florida, providing silos as to the council intent, amending the city code by revoking and removing Article 3, Chapter 26, residential rental property, provide for codification, provide for repeal of conflicting codes, ordinances, and resolutions, provide for severability, and provide for effective date.
Okay. Anything you'd like to share from CFRPC on this second reading? Okay. Any questions on ordinance number 01-2024? This will be for the revocation of residential rental property regulation. We discussed this at length at our last meeting. If no one else has any questions. Weird to make a motion.
No.
I do not have a motion.
Okay. Does anyone care to make a motion for ordinance number 01-2024?
So move.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so this is a second reading, so the public hearing for ordinance number 01-2024 is open. Anyone wanting to speak on this issue can do so. Seeing no speakers, public hearing is now closed. We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire.
Yes.
Councilmember McCure.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 9, this will be also be a public hearing and second reading for ordinance number 02-2024.
An ordinance of the City of Avon Park, amending the future land use map of the City of Avon Park, Florida, specifically amending one parcel of land consisting of plus or minus 0.36 acres on property located at 601 South Lotilo Avenue, Avon Park, from the future land use of low-density residential to medium-density residential, transmitting said amendment to the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity for notification purposes only, providing for severability, providing for effective conflict, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, so this will be a public hearing as well. Public hearing for ordinance number 02-2024 is now open. Anyone wishing to speak on this future land use map change can now do so. Seeing no speakers, public hearing is now closed. Be looking for a motion.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 02-2024, please.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Last call for questions. Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire.
Yes.
Councilmember McCure.
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 10, this will be a public hearing for the second reading of ordinance number 03-2024.
An ordinance of the City of Avon Park, amending the official zoning map of the City of Avon Park, Florida, specifically amending one parcel of land consisting of plus or minus 0.36 acres on lake property located at 601 South Lotila Avenue, Avon Park, from the zoning of R1AA, low-density residential, to R2, medium density, single-family attached, and duplex, providing for severability, providing for conflict, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, so the public hearing for ordinance number 3-2024 is now open. Anyone wishing to speak on this can now do so. Seeing no speakers, public hearing is now closed. Be looking for a motion for ordinance number 03-2024.
So move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure? Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 11, this will be a public hearing and second reading of ordinance number 04-2024.
An ordinance of the City of Avon Park, Florida, amending the Avon Park Unified Land Development Code, specifically amending Article 3, Section 3.08.13, capital B, pertaining to development standards for allowable accessory structures within mobile home parks, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date.
Okay, the public hearing for ordinance number 04-2024 is now open. Anyone wishing to speak can now do so. Seeing no speakers, public hearing is now closed. Be looking for a motion for ordinance number 04-2024.
So move, please.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item number 12 will be a quasi-judicial hearing. Okay, so anyone wishing to speak at this quasi-judicial hearing would have to be sworn in. This is a little bit different than a standard item that we would have on our agenda.
Can I just add something, Mayor? My
Please.
testimony. It's on your agenda because there's two reasons it has to be in front of you instead of the city manager. It's over the $50,000, and second, this individual first sued the city.
Okay? All right, anything special we need to do to open this item up?
Yeah, whoever's going to speak needs to be sworn in.
So anyone who wishes to speak, if you could come forward, raise your right hand and I will read it.
Okay, this is pertaining to the property of 717 West Winford Street.
Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir. Okay, so in this case, it's their proposal, so they have the right to speak first.
Okay, gentlemen, please.
My name is Frank Pepe. I'm president of Sun Lovers Homes, owner of the property.
Okay, if you could pull that microphone towards your face there.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. We were requesting a lien reduction. We bought the property from a tax deed sale in October of 2022. The suit had nothing to do with suing the city. It had to do with quiet title. When you purchase a property on a tax deed sale, the title is open. You can't insure it unless you do a quiet title. The city was only named because they had a lien on the property, so they had to be notified a quiet title was being done against the former owner of the property. So it wasn't a suit against the city, it was a quiet title suit.
Hmm.
With the property being purchased at a tax deed sale, there were surplus funds, and we worked with Carla, who was the tax deed sale head from the county, to make sure those funds did come to the city. And they did receive over $21,000 to help reduce the lien against the property, which was for a leaning fence from the owner that we purchased from tax deed sale. That was an ongoing, I guess, problem. Once we took the property over, we corrected it within 2 days. Code enforcement came out within days, passed everything, and of course, at that time was a 90-day wait to put in an application for lien reduction. We did put the application in. They came back out, said our house had mold on it and fascia boards needed painting. We were holding off on remodeling until we had this resolved. When they did that, we went out, put a new roof on the property, had it power washed, had it painted, corrected all the violations, and again, that passed. 90 days later, put in an application. The city was redoing their metric system, so that held us up on getting this done. This has been almost a year and a half that we're trying to get clear so we can sell this property.
Okay. Anything else to add?
Where we're looking for, like I said, 90% reduction on the remaining balance of the lien, unless the city feels that the 30% they received from the tax surplus was sufficient, and they want to give us a lower amount, that's fine.
Okay. Randy, anything else to add?
Yeah, pretty much as stated, as Mr. Pepe stated, kind of a little timeline. 2/21 of 23 submitted the first lien reduction, paid the $325 to the city. On 3/24 of 23, I'm sorry, on 3/3 of 23, which was approximately 10 days later, I went by there, looked at the property, cited the property for rotting fascia, and they had 3 columns, wooden columns that were coming down that supported the front porch. They were rotted. At that point, we sent notice of the violation. On 3/24, which was 21 days later, compliance was gained on the property. Then none of 90 days has to go by. So that did kickstart the 90 days again. Approximately June 24th of last year, he was eligible. The property has been kept in compliance since that time. The delay from there to here is accurate. We were going back and forth with the lien matrix and the new lien reduction policy. Basically, on November 30th, an email was sent from the city manager to Sun Lovers Homes saying that the new lien reduction policy was going in front of City Council. On December 22nd of last year, I received the new lien application from Sun Lovers. Now, this lien application under the new reduction ordinance requires all hard costs to be paid by the city before consideration. I did receive a check for $922.30, which was the hard cost. I believe it was $580 incurred in legal fees from the lawyers that defended the city on the complaint, and then the $300 for the application. So that was paid. On February 5th this year, requested invoices, because there was some part of the lien reduction ordinance. Obviously, when you figure out what the percentage is, part of the second part of it is how much money did they spend on the property to bring it back into. I can tell you we did, from the original submission, we received the same invoices. Again, invoices and receipts are different thing. You can claim an invoice. You have no proof that you paid it unless the invoice is marked paid in some way. Well, this time when I got them back, 3 of them had handwritten paid, and I would like to submit those for evidence as they contrast with the original ones that were sent in from Sun Lovers Homes. So whether council wants to consider those as legit, or I'm not saying they're not, I'm just saying that they're not consistent with what was originally set in. Same receipts, just handwritten at the bottom on 3 of them. The first receipt is $2,000. The second receipt is $160, and then the third receipt is $1,441 and some change. Now, if you take those out of the equation, the receipt that shows paid is from Morel Roofing for $7,030. That was never part of the original violation, but it was an upgrade in the house because I guess it needed a roof. The second one is from Joey's Repair, but that's for $2,000. But like I said, the receipt is different the second time it came to the city with a handwritten paid on a date. But I would like to show you those. You already have the original receipts in your packet that were submitted upon the first reduction. These are the ones that were submitted on the second submittal because the first ones didn't suffice. They didn't show payment. They showed invoices, but no proof that they were paid. So basically, if those are negated, he would go down, or some lovers would go to the other tier of less than $10,000 paid, because he's going to get the 30% up top according to the lien, because it was remedied within the, I believe it's 90 days that they have. So that would give the original 20%. So it's the remainder, 80% is what should be considered by council.
So you're looking at 80% reduction.
I'm sorry, it's 30 up top and 70 is the other. Now, he's asking for 90, so instead of a potential of 100, but that would, I don't know if that, he misspoke or if that's for further clarification.
Do you have reason to believe those are not valid?
They're just inconsistent. They're not the same, and now there's handwritten writing on the bottom when the original ones that were. So they were done after the fact that the original ones were submitted, which would cause me, based on my prior profession, to question it. Yes.
If I can say something, those receipts, we're dealing with handymen that paint the house, power wash. They're not sophisticated in having a full billing system. So they give us an invoice, we pay that invoice, we say we need pay receipts. They wrote paid on them and sent them back to us.
So what your testimony is that under oath, that those paid stamps or.
Oh, yeah, they're valid, there are valid costs for having the work done on the property. Just we're dealing with average handyman people, so they're not.
It looked like they were all consistent with the same handwriting, the three. Now, if those were given back to each individual person, you would think that they would look different,
Okay.
based on my opinion.
So are we looking at a 90% reduction of the 72,400 number, or 90% of the 50,905?
It's the 50 we already received. I have a copy of the check that we received, which were the surplus funds of $21,527.21. That brought the lien back, that brought the lien down to, I believe, 50, whatever's in your packet, the 50-some thousand dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the percentage that you're looking at, because we already, it started at 70-something. We got these proceeds, so we have to subtract them from what the balance is, so that's where you're at with the 50-some thousand.
Okay. So you want to reduce it by 90%? Reduce 50?
That's what they're asking for, yes.
Okay. And what is your recommendation?
Whatever council wants to do.
That's not what I asked you, Randy.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, this has been an ongoing process, some of it self-inflicted, but it's not been a fun time for code enforcement with this back and forth. There was some code officer shopping, there was some clerk shopping that they'd want to get to them and bypass me. They didn't like talking to me. They went to the city manager. They didn't like that answer, so then they would call one of my code officers. It just, I've never went through a lien reduction process like with this particular business, and I have reservations.
Mark, you have something to add?
No, yes, thank you, Mayor. I know he's asking for 90, but if we go to our matrix, if we want to call it that, if you accept his word that those after things, which I know Randy told me they'd ask for canceled checks and that, but if you accepted that, then he would score in 100%. If you don't take them in, the ones that we do, Randy does believe, that's $8,280, which would score into the $5,000 to $10,000 that he spent on this building, which would be 40. So total would be. So if we stick with this, it's either 70 or 100, depending on how council wants to move, based on the evidence you saw or heard.
Okay. Jerry, do you have any guidance for us on whether it be 70 or 100? I know that what's at stake here is basically if we believe that these invoices are correct. So from a legal perspective, should we consider that they may not be valid?
I think it's up to you as to how you hold the veracity of the person that's asking for it compared to, the suspicions that Mark has and so on. But he's testified under oath, which is subject to perjury, if he wrote those out himself, and that'd be a bad result for simply making a few $1,000s.
I can show proof. They didn't say you give us checks or anything. A couple of these were done through ACH, through our bank account. So I have everything that I could prove. If you want me to send it in tomorrow, you have it.
What you can do is you can accept his word subject to further review of the evidence.
Okay. Well, I mean, from where I'm sitting, if that's the two options is 70 or 100%, and this gentleman's requesting 90, I mean, I feel like it's probably in the city's best interest to take the 90. But I'm one of five. What does the rest of the board think?
Can I see those copies back?
Is everything up to code now?
Yes.
I think they might have been given back to Christian.
I can, on that question, though, I would like to, and I'm not trying, it's not me trying to stick it to him, pardon my French, but I had somebody come in the office last week and inquire about the property because they have a for sale sign on it, and they were looking at buying it. So they were talking about zoning and this current issue. And I asked them, because I've never been in the house, again, irrelevant, but they volunteered that the windows have been also changed out.
A broken window, a couple of
Just
broken
one.
windows was replaced because of security reasons.
Okay.
Somebody broke out a whole sliding door in the back and it.
There was never, when you have more than one window, it's required that you have a permit. There was never a permit pulled for those windows. Just, again, going towards prior behavior, something to consider.
Okay, any other comments from the council?
Yes, per the matrix, is he authorized 100%?
Yeah, so if basically, per the matrix, you could go up to 100% if we validate the payments, and it would be 70% if you do not take them into context here. And he's requesting 90.
So is the suit a non-issue?
I believe it's a non-issue.
Yeah.
He paid the attorney's fees.
He paid the attorney's fees. It's closed, yeah, you should have the withdrawal, I think, of the complaint in your packet.
Without prejudice.
Yes. Pretty good, Phil.
Yeah, so at 90%, that would put him still owing $5,090.50, just so everyone knows.
So these receipts that we have in our packet, these were sent to you first. And then where did these come from?
After a follow-up request, because got with the city manager, and he looked at some of those, and there was no, and I agree 100%, there was no proof that they were paid. They were just invoices. So the second set we got back, all of a sudden had paid with the same handwriting at the bottom of the receipts. So that was obviously a red flag, whether it was a legit red flag or whether it was just an oversight. To me, it pardon my French, didn't pass the smell test.
Like you said, I could show proof tomorrow because they were all paid via ACH or a canceled check. I just didn't send it in because I didn't realize that's what they wanted. I sent them back to the contractors and I said, I need to say paid.
Indicating when they were paid.
Yeah.
So we would be able to move forward with this and reduce it at 90% if he can prove with the canceled checks and
Yes.
the bank statements.
Okay.
That's
That's
what I
fine.
would want to do, at 90%.
Actually, it would be 100%.
Oh,
The
According-
matrix can go up to 100%, but he's requesting 90.
Right, but if he's just requesting 90, but it is.
You want to give me 100%, I'll take it.
That's my suggestion.
Any other comments, questions?
Requires a motion.
If there's no further comments, we'll be looking for a motion.
I'll go ahead and make the motion that we approve this 90-day reduction.
90%?
90%, sorry. Reduction on the grounds that he provides the documentation requested.
I'll second
Okay.
that.
We have a motion and a second. Last call for questions. Any questions for you, sir?
No questions, I'll email that in tomorrow.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
No.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Can I maybe suggest something to eliminate this in the future? If somebody was seeking to provide receipts or invoices, large amount, and you want to pick an amount, you think it's reasonable, we require that they get an affidavit from the person that does not sign paid. And then the person that they paid, you can see if it's an affidavit. If they don't have a check or something else that you're comfortable with, then we can use an affidavit. And they'll just have to pay them to get the court or notarized.
Notary.
Yep. So I believe anything above the $50,000 limit is what comes to the council, right? So I would just request on behalf of the council that anything that does come before us, we have that affidavit.
And individual receipts as well, because they may be less, but it might be like $20,000 receipt, and I have questions, so I'd say pick a receipt number, like 5,000 or 10,000, which you think should be verified in some way positively. 5,000?
Okay. Do we need a motion for that?
Yes, please.
Does anyone care to make the motion, set the limit at 5,000?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Thanks, sir. Item number 13. You got it. Item number 13, this will be an event request for a Bread Fest 2024. The Historical Society, Miss Nancy Fisk.
Yes.
You could please come up to the microphone.
Is this supposed to be making it louder for them, or can I just talk to you from here?
I
Yep,
need you
it-
to talk in the microphone.
Yeah, that way it gets recorded.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Nancy Fisk, 603 South Hart Avenue, Avon Park.
Yes, ma'am. So you want to have a Bread Fest?
Correct.
Okay. Anything that you'd like to share with the council about this Bread Fest?
Well, it is the 75th anniversary of the discovery of Brown and Serve rolls right here in Avon Park, which we think is a significant thing, as folks have been visiting us I entertained some people from Canada Sunday, and they were quite impressed with that. Everyone knows about Brown and Serve rolls, and they had no idea that they were discovered right here. So that's the idea for the festival, but we would like to have a baking contest. It will be a little different than the usual festivals. We'll have baking contests, maybe pickles and jams, things like that. The extension service will help us with that, and we'll have displays and demonstrations, and we think it's going to be a good time.
I think it will be. Any questions about this Bread Fest?
No, I think it's something we should be proud of and to celebrate.
Agreed. If there's no further questions, we'll be looking for a motion. So we have road closures in here. Basically gives an outline of the map and everything like that. They've provided insurance, which is the usual thing that we request. Staff, is there any reason why we can't move forward on this?
No.
Okay. So again, I'll ask, is there a motion?
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve it.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Nancy. All right, item number 14 is to be the council to vet one of two applicants for the Planning and Zoning Board. Christie?
Yes, sir. So as you are aware, we have a vacancy on the Planning and Zoning Board. I received two applications, one from Terrence Wills, the second from Adrian Gamez. Both, I believe, are here. I can't really see thank you. So they're available if you have any questions.
Okay. All right, I'm assuming the council has seen both of their applications here and their resumes. Is there anything the council would like to hear from these applicants? You want them to give an overview?
I'd like to hear from them.
All right, sounds like we would like to hear from the applicants. So, don't fight over each other, but if you guys could make your way up here. Be the.
Proceed, sir. You refer to me, or I'll go to the floor and you.
Yeah. Just come up to the microphone and give your name and address for the record, please.
Adrian Gamez, address is 408 Westlake Isis Avenue, Avon Park.
Yes, sir. If you could tell us why you would like to be on the Planning and Zoning Board.
Short answer is just because there's some things in this town that I grew up in and been here since I was a kid that should probably change. And that's it. There's some things from the zoning side. Obviously, we're voting earlier on the 601 Lotila Avenue stuff that I agree with, and I mean, I'd like to be part of that to make those decisions as you guys were making decisions earlier about. But that's just it. I mean, I'm 38 years old, and you know, this is home. So my kids are here, my grandkids are going to be here, and you know, this is the city of Charm.
Okay.
So that's the short version of it.
Generally speaking, you want to see more growth in Avon Park?
Absolutely.
More business, more housing, you name it?
Absolutely. I
Anything-
mean, so not to interrupt you, sir, but CVS, before it was CVS, it was Eckerd, and CVS shut down. You know, I'm currently employed at Big T. Big T's been around since '68, and everybody, you know, in their head thinks, oh, Big T's gonna be around forever. Do we know that? We don't. But I would like to bring more to Avon Park, to bring more revenue. I mean, look at our mall, same thing.
Sure.
So same reason for that.
Okay.
But yes, sir.
Any other questions for Mr. Gamez?
Yep.
I have a question for you. Are you a homeowner?
Yes, ma'am.
And looking at your record, it looked like you used to be in law enforcement. Why do you choose to go out of law enforcement to go into Big T?
So I left law enforcement after 15 years. Short version, I was doing undercover narcotics. My babies were babies at the time. I was not seeing my babies anymore to try to make ends meet. And I was offered a different job where I was able to make ends meet and actually raise my babies.
Understood.
So,
Any other questions for Mr. Gamez? Seeing none, Mr. Gamez, thank you very much.
thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you could give your name and address for the record, please.
Terrence Wills, Highway 2525, Avon Park.
Yes, sir. Tell us why you'd like to be on the Planning and Zoning Board.
Basically, we serve the community already. I'd like to continue to serve the community in the growth of Avon Park. Where citizens want a voice, so I'd like to be that voice for them.
Okay. I'll ask you the same question about growth in Avon Park, business growth, housing. Is that something you'd
Yes.
like to see?
Yes, especially housing. As you know, we've had the discussion for housing before,
Mm-hmm.
so we'd like to see a lot of affordable housing, a lot of new businesses that want to stay.
Mm.
We own two businesses, and we plan on staying already,
Okay.
so,
Anything else you'd like to share with the board?
no.
Any other questions?
How long have you lived in Avon Park?
We've been here, this will be our seventh year.
Okay.
We moved from a very cold state,
North Dakota, I believe. it was?
North Dakota.
Yep. Can't blame you there.
You made a great choice.
My wife's parents are in Sebring, so we moved back to be closer.
Understood. Any other questions for him?
I don't necessarily have a question for him or Mr. Gamez. I want to know if we select one of these gentlemen to be on the board, do we have a waiting list in case another position should come available, or would we have to run it again?
We would have to run it again. I don't start the process until I actually have a vacancy. Of course, we could always change that
Yep.
if that's what you want to do.
And this would be to elect someone to serve the remainder of Mr. Cummings' position,
Correct.
which is how long?
I believe it.
2025.
Okay. Everybody clear on that? All right. Seeing no further questions, does anyone have any discussion or a motion?
I just have a comment on each one of the volunteers. First of all, thank you to both of you. Mr. Gamez, you have quite a resume, and a lot of people have your support, and I appreciate that. I think that that's one of the reasons why we'd like to have somebody serve on that board. But I also know Terrence and his business on Main Street, and know that from the first day I visited him and every day I visited him after that, he was wholeheartedly invested in seeing what was in the best interest of Avon Park. And so he is a businessman, so he understands the growth of business, and I think that Mr. Gamez working for Big T also does. But I sort of think that in some ways it'd be nice to have some new blood on the board. So I'm personally in favor of Terrence of taking that next position.
Well, just for what it's worth, personally, I liked the application of Mr. Gamez better. I do like the fact that he is born and raised here. I think you definitely have a heart for the city. I know he knows a lot of people around here. Definitely has a vested interest, and I know there would be a lot of people that would be lined up to knock his door down if he does something stupid. So I think he would definitely be very good for the Planning and Zoning Board.
And I would like to say, as I look at both of them, don't know neither one of them, and I think their resume both would be a good fit. But because he's from Avon Park, ain't nothing like getting Avon Park out to help out in the city, to show that you care. It's hard to get some of our Avon Parkers out to be on different boards. So when one of them step up and say they want to be on a board, I would definitely love to give them a chance if, you know, they fit the mold.
Okay. Any other comments? Seeing
I
none?
think they're both very, it's going to be a hard decision. They're very good. Both of their applications look great. I think both of them will be a really good fit.
Okay. Well, I'll just make a motion that we approve Mr. Gamez to serve the remainder of the planning and zoning term. Be looking for a second.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Last call for questions. Seeing none, we'll call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gamez. All right,
Mayor, can I say something while they're still here?
please.
At your next meeting, we'll be bringing you, probably removing two from there. We have alternates that never show up, so if this individual would like to be an alternate, we'd like to have him on, so.
Hear
The
that?
individual wasn't selected.
Okay.
Did you hear what he said? He said that you would be, right, you placed on the list as an alternate?
Yes, next meeting, we've had two that never show up, so they need to be removed, so we want people to show up.
Very good. All right, city manager updates.
Well, you're getting as tired as I am putting on here no updates from the FAA, but guess what I received? On Friday and then again this morning. Jerry's seen them, but I'll read portions of it. This is from Heather Haney. She's with the FAA. She's taken over up there as the director. She was one we met with when we were up in Atlanta. Real sharp girl. She sent outside counsel an email, says, I want to provide an update on Avon Park's record of decision. I'm still working through the record of decision and comments from the Federal Register notice. I have a meeting set up with FDOT to discuss the lease. I anticipate the record of decision to be completed here in the near future. I'm hesitant, however, to provide a date, but it is on top of my priority. So our outside counsel, of course, said, well, can you give me some idea so we can start planning for it? And she came back this morning and said, my goal is to have it to you by May, pending FDOT doesn't have anything huge to add. Then she has a meeting with FDOT on March 21st to finalize it with legal, and then legal normally requests 30 days, so that'd be the worst case scenario, 30 days. So our outside counsel sent back to me to let FAM know, which I did, and they're excited. And he said we may want to start gearing up for the closing on the lease and the full transfer of the airport to FAM, perhaps around June 1st is what he's looking for, but we can pick a date that works for every one of us to get together and talk about it. He says we may also see the record of decision sooner if they have no comments from FAA legal. So, good news.
Okay. On that closing, is there anything realistically that we are going to be doing? Is that a big process, or?
Yes. That's why he wants to get going, so.
Okay.
So, we got, in a few things, it includes obtaining title insurance, obtaining certificates necessary for legal opinions, et cetera, so.
And we already have the legal descriptions at this point?
Right.
Okay. So as far as the grant funds that are part of that, have we still been getting everything that we've put in for, or?
We're about spent out on what we have, and Melody, do you have any more information on that? We were working with FAA still to see if we can receive more if we need it. And like normal, we've been dealing with FAA. One says no, the other says yes, it's there, so she hasn't heard back, but.
Okay.
Another one I've been asked a couple times about, and I've been asking about, is the old Yana buildings being demoed. They should be starting the end of this week.
Very good.
One add-on, Deli came in front, was it last meeting? About her Easter event in the city parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And she wants to add, and seeing only you can say it because it's an ordinance, you can't have food trucks on city property. She wants to have ice shaving, ice cones for the kids. Half the proceeds are going to go to her nonprofit, but you need to approve it to be on city property. Staff recommends you approve it.
Okay. No potential issues there?
No.
Okay. Any questions on that ice shaving truck?
No questions.
Anyone care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the ice shaving truck.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Last call for questions. Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Anything else on city manager updates?
That's it.
All right, seeing none, we do have two signups.
I have a question for
Go
the city
ahead.
manager, if I could, please. Over the last few months, I've heard a lot of rumors on this subject, and I do like what some people say, don't necessarily believe rumors that you get from the street. But I've had several people contact me over the weekend that said they believe it was true, so I would really like to find out, did Duke Energy ever offer us a free EV station or one or more, and they would maintain it for 5 years? Because I don't think we've ever had a chance to vote on that.
Actually, Duke Energy was getting hold of cities, and there's a contract which I got to Jerry that was completely one-sided, and someone else brought that up the other day, and it's not eventually go to council, but Jerry and I had looked at it, because I saw it, and it had nothing to do, remember, Jerry, when we talked about it? In fact, we even talked about Jerry with his Tesla and charging it. So that's what I know about it.
Ultimately, it was decided that it wasn't good for the city. Is that what I'm hearing, Jerry or Mark, or what?
Well, the agreement was totally one-sided. I mean, it's something, if you wanted to, we could negotiate, but I don't, it was pretty bad.
And they said they wouldn't negotiate.
That's right.
So it wasn't true they offered to give it to us for free and 5 years free maintenance?
Well, free is a pretty broad term, but I don't recall that they said they would give it to us for free.
We can't hear you all out here.
I don't recall what exactly the contract said at this point. It's been several months. since
Yeah,
that.
it wasn't we got it for free, it was theirs.
Yeah.
The
So why
city,
did the decision not bring it before the council?
why did I? Because I deal with a lot of things, and
But wouldn't that be something that we should?
if you'd like to bring it, I'll bring it in front of you. And you know,
Too late now?
what's that?
Isn't it too late?
No. No.
I'd like to see it.
Okay.
I
Mark,
mean, even if it's a no, I mean, at least we got the chance to all see it.
Sure.
Mark, I'd like to address at this moment, since it's on the table, I'd like to address, what decision do you have in regards to if the residents of Avon Park come to you and want something put on the agenda? What decision do you have not to put it on the agenda or to put it on the agenda?
If someone wants to go in front of council, it goes on the agenda.
So if anybody, no matter what the subject is, if they want to go before the council, it can be put on the agenda.
Sure. And then anybody can show up to any meeting and get their 5 minutes at the end of the meeting.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
it's-
so,
It's,
go ahead.
it's generally not the way, I mean, people don't just get on the agenda because they want to say something on the agenda. Because the agenda is open and they have a limitless amount of time to talk about it.
Right.
And, unless they're ultimately cut off. But, that, everybody has a right to come in under the open discussion. Like
Okay.
we get ready to have now.
I get that, Mr. Burr, but my question is, who has the right? Is it the council or is it Mark as the city manager to decide what goes on the agenda and what does not go on the agenda? I know everybody got that 5 minutes. I get that part. I'm talking about the agenda.
Every agenda, I meet with the mayor, unless he's out of town and I can't get with him. But 99% of the time, the mayor knows it's his agenda. I run it by him. It's usually when he comes in to sign checks, he has a copy of it, and we go over it.
Yes, it's myself or the council as a whole that can set the agenda.
And that's pretty typical. When somebody wants, if somebody wants something to be on the agenda, they can come and speak to one of the council members and say, I'd like to have something on the agenda, and then you can request that be done. If it's still not approved, then you can bring it to a meeting and have it approved by vote.
Right. Yeah,
Okay,
so there's been several times at meetings, you might recall, where maybe you brought up or somebody else brought up something, hey, I'd like to discuss this in the future, and we vote as a council to put it on the agenda going forward. If there's in between meeting times, as Mark said, I do meet with him pretty regularly, almost every week, and if there's something to be placed on there, then I typically say yay or nay. A lot of times it's usually about if it's not ready yet or we're waiting on documentation or something to that effect.
So were you with the part of the nay against the EV chargers?
No, I mean, I don't recall saying that shouldn't be on the agenda.
The reason why I brought it up, I'm getting a lot of complaints in the community that they go to you to have something put on the agenda. They discuss it with you. And pretty much you just blatantly tell them, no, it's not gonna go on the agenda. And so they come and get that 5 minutes. And I'm just trying to figure out, now I know who makes the decision of what goes on the agenda. I guess my next question is, how? How is that decision made according to the subject that is brought before you?
First, I'd like to know who is, that all these people are coming to you saying this.
Yeah, it's quite a few of them.
Who are
Quite
they?
a few people.
But who are they?
Business owners, just mostly business owners. They want to know, why is it that if they come to you, why is it that they can't be put on the agenda? Or you just blatantly tell them no?
I don't know any business owner that's come, if you give me a name or a business, I could answer it, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I rarely have anybody come that wants to just be on the agenda. People are told that they can get anybody can get their 5 minutes at the end of the meeting. But we don't, because the city clerk receives a lot of calls. She receives a call, she gets me. So no, there's not a lot of people that come to me asking to be on the agenda.
Well, to me, the difference between being on the agenda and having the last 5 minutes at the end of the meeting is they can have paperwork or presentations to be in our agenda for us to look at to see exactly why they want to be on the agenda and what they're looking for. Whereas if you have somebody come up at the end of the meeting and they just have 5 minutes to speak, we don't have any proof or ideas or see exactly what what they're here for, other than, you know, a brief statement that could take 5 minutes or less. But at the same time, if it's something that we've never seen before, we have a lot of questions. It's like, you know, you said you wanted to get this and that, and you weren't on the agenda, and so you come to us at the end of the meeting, so you've been here an hour or two and wait to go on there, and all of a sudden, they can't explain themselves that well, why exactly they wanted to be agenda. It'd be nice if they had like pieces of paper to pass around like Randy did, where we saw different signatures. So I'm saying, I've heard the same thing from Denise too, that, so I think that, especially if a business comes up to you and says they want to come and talk, I think it should be pretty much automatic. They should have time either in the next meeting or the one after that.
I would just ask the council members, how many times have you sat in a meeting and somebody came up at the end and had something interesting, or we clearly needed more evidence or whatever, and we decided, hey, we want to have them come back at such and such a day? I mean,
And that's okay.
that's how it works, because you can't put every single thing on the agenda, otherwise you'd be here all night long.
But Mayor, we tend to have the same old people in the city appearing on the agenda all the time.
Okay?
Yeah, and so if we're gonna have the same old groups or businesses of people appearing on the agenda all the time, then we tend to make room and time for them. So we should make room and time for anybody else who wants to be
Yeah,
on the
but
agenda.
it's something specific, like a event request, or purchasing something, or it's part of a contract, or something to that effect. But if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I want to be on the agenda for whatever reason, and you think it's a good idea, there's absolutely nothing stopping you from, at the next meeting, saying, this person came to me and I think this is a good idea and we need to discuss it. And then the board will decide if they want to discuss it. That's the normal way of things.
Well, I've also had people confront me and say the same thing.
So,
The
it is.
word out of the mouth was,
Speaking to the mic, please.
I'm very sorry. I've heard it, I've heard it myself. They've come to you, the word out of your mouth was, I don't think this is a good fit for the city.
Who is this?
I don't really think that's important, it's just
Well,
the
no,
fact that it
actually, all right,
says,
go ahead.
just the fact that it's been said. You know, it's not only the people in the community who are speaking out, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but it's the employees that are being mistreated also. You have this very big curtain of secrecy. The employees absolutely feel like they cannot come and talk to us, that you have absolutely forbade them from speaking to us. That shouldn't be at all.
Okay, and my stance on that is because I was also approached by folks, okay? I was always taught, somebody comes to you and they make accusations, many accusations, then check it out before believing it. Check it out, because that's what I started doing. I was very quiet during the meeting, writing everything down, and then I start checking. Nope, that one's not true, that one's not true, that one's not true. There are a few that are going around stirring the pot for whatever reason, whether their feelings got hurt because their item was not placed on the agenda, whether they're trying to make a name for themselves, whatever the reason may be. We have had many people that have come to the meetings and said, I want to come and present something. We say, great, bring it, present it. It is so unfair to take somebody's word for it, because we were all approached by the same people. It's not a secret. We were all approached. And all it is somebody, they say they're here for the betterment of Avon Park, but you know what? It's not. When you're running around and you're running your mouth, and you're taking this one's word for it, and you're taking that one's word for it, and then you're spitting it out like it's truth, it does not help Avon Park.
Nope.
All it does is cause divide, and every bit of the future that we have going forward is squashed. So my recommendation, if you are being approached by these individuals, check it out. Check it out. Because you know what? The proof will be in the pudding. And if there ain't no pudding, there ain't no proof.
Well said.
The only thing I can say is that the people that have told me things like this, I tell them exactly what I told somebody who's here tonight. If you aren't allowed to be on the agenda for whatever reason, if it's true or not true, then
Is the mic in front of you?
I'll definitely try to speak up, because I'd like you to hear what I have to say. Thank you. But what I've told everybody, including some people that are here tonight, is if you won't be, what you're true is you won't be allowed on the agenda, then come to the end of the meeting and bring it up, because everybody is always allowed, even though you have to wait to the end of the meeting to get up and speak. And then, like the mayor says, if we think they have value, then I think we should vote on whether they should be on the agenda.
Okay, well, I mean, from where I've seen, nobody's been suppressed. Everybody that wants to come to a meeting has never been refused. So if they're there and what they have to say, they want to stand behind, then by all means, bring it forward. Otherwise, you're just, as Brittany said, you're causing problems, you're causing divide, you're being gossip, and you're being immature. So if you believe what you say it out loud. Otherwise, keep it to yourself. All right, anything else on that issue?
Well, I'd like to make a motion then for an evaluation done on the city manager, just to see, you know, how everybody else feels about his performance,
Based on what?
based on everything that has been presented to different individuals of the board.
What's been presented?
Whether it's true or whether it's not true, at least give everybody a chance to put it on paper.
Okay, but you want the city council to do an evaluation?
No, I want an evaluation done, whether it comes from the employees, whether it comes from the council. After a year, I would have an evaluation if I were working and it was 90 days. Would you not have an evaluation after a 90-day probationary period?
6 months, yes, I believe.
Thank you.
Yeah. So typically, the city council is the only one that does the evaluation on the city manager.
Okay.
If there is a city employee that has a complaint, is there not a method for them to file a complaint?
Yes.
Okay. And those channels are,
No repercussions and no,
If a complaint's filed, there would be an investigation into that complaint. Basically what you were saying. We don't just take it as hearsay, we do the investigation, do the legwork, and find out the facts.
okay. And have there been any complaints from city employees lately?
There is one from today that I am working on.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is this a protected name at this point? Okay.
I would prefer that until I'm done with the investigation.
Okay, got it.
If possible.
And whenever that gets done, what happens?
Then I could present it to council.
Okay, is there a policy in place that we typically do, or?
I'm new to the city, so I don't know what's been done historically.
Mhm.
But if it's the council that reviews things like that, then I would assume it would go to council.
Got it.
So what if it's about one of the council?
Yeah. So you would have to come up to the microphone if you want to ask a question there, ma'am. Okay. Anything else on the employee deal?
Only thing I can comment I'd like to make is I believe that Jerry's told us many times that we
You made a
should
motion.
do a yearly report card on the city manager as a regular thing. Is that not true, Jerry?
Well, the frequency of when you do it is up to you.
Okay.
But I know some of the agreements that we've done in the past, maybe not here, but that I've, in my office, have had yearly evaluations, but that's not a requirement.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, it's up to you how often you want to do it, or if you want to do it at all.
Yep. So Ms. McCure said that she made a motion. I believe, could you restate your motion, please?
I'd like to do a year evaluation on the city manager.
You would like to do a one-time, 1 year, or make it annual?
I'd like to make it annually, actually.
Okay. All right, we have a motion for an annual review from the council on the?
Yes.
Okay, from the council. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. My only question is, have we not already done one on the city manager? I believe it was going from probationary to not probationary.
It was.
And do you know how long ago that was?
I haven't had one since it, but I just finished my first year on this 3-year contract, so now would be the time to do it.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any questions on that? I'm assuming we'll use a format that we've used before. I think typically.
Typically, you have someone put one together, and then you approve it by vote, and then it goes out.
Okay. Is there anyone at the city that could do that? Would that be a human resources thing, or?
Yeah, we do have an evaluation form.
Okay.
That could be used.
It may not fit in the city.
Yeah, it would have to be adapted, so.
But I have some as well.
Okay.
I can send you if you.
Perfect.
remind me.
Yes, that would be great, thank you.
Okay, so the idea would be that we would approve the form at our next meeting, and then we would carry it out based on whatever the form says, right?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody in agreement with that?
Yes.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Last call for questions. Seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
Yes.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. That concludes our regular agenda. We do have a couple signups. First is Emilio. I'm not going to butcher the last name.
No, I need you to talk to the mic.
Yeah, if you want to stand, you could put the microphone up at that podium. but-
The wiring's super iffy.
Okay.
It's iffy? All right, that's fine, that's fine. Okay,
Just name and address for the record, please.
no problem. Emilio Garibaldi Jr., 204 East Pine Street, 126 West Main.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'd like to introduce myself for people who know me and people who don't, okay? Very simple. My name is Emilio Garibaldi Jr. I'm the Director of Commercial Real Estate and Investments for MBNA. I have a double master's in business, leadership, and organizational development. I'm finishing my doctorates in same thing, as well as business administration, okay? So everybody who can hear my voice can understand that what I'm about to say is I understand, okay? I've been here in Highlands County 18 years. I've seen Lake Placid, Sebring, Avon Park. I've been all over. Unfortunately, I wasn't born in Avon Park. I've been here about getting on 2 years, but it doesn't mean I love it any less than anybody in this room. I support this town wholeheartedly. Besides purchasing the old Napa Distribution Center, which we're rebuilding right now, I bring in investors that are active in wanting to build the cities. I've done it for Lake Placid, done it for Sebring, and it just so happens that here in Avon Park, where my wife's family has been a long time, we ended up here for whatever reason, okay? And unfortunately, things do happen here. There are things that are beyond our control, there are things that are in our control. And I'm not afraid to say them. We live in the old Hart House, and across the street there was a murder. We're still here. There was a death across the street from my building in the empty lot. We're still here. We love this town. I love this town. And regardless if I was born here or not, that's never going to change. Now, in October, it was brought to my attention that the property at 101 West Main Street was available in RFP. For everybody who doesn't understand that, that means that it's up from the city to possibly be purchased or whatever the case may be for someone to bring a proposal, okay? I brought this proposal in. It was due November 30th, and I brought it in for November 30th. It took over 90 days for me to even get a response, considering I'm the only person to turn one in. Number one, that's unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable for something that takes an hour to review and to go over. Number two, I am not the only expert that went over this proposal. I discussed it with a lot of us upstanding people in town, a lot of upstanding people in Rotary, and they all agreed that this was highest and best use. So we all decided, okay, let's put this in, and let's get it in front of the city council and see if it's a project that they would accept. Now, waiting 90 days to hear that your project was rejected, unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable. This town is supposed to be growing. We're here for growth. And to have some veil of secrecy that the city council can't hear things, that it doesn't get past City Hall, or whatever the case may be, it's ludicrous to even think that the city council, it's a republic. You guys were voted in by the people. So you guys make decisions on things that regard the public. It's nothing new. It's been around for a long time. So when things don't reach the city council that should have at least an audience, it sets the city back. It doesn't set the city back a little bit. It sets the city back a lot. I show the Jacaranda. I show the bank building. I show many properties here, many properties. And it's always the same question. How is the city working with businesses? How is the city working with the people who are trying to come in here? There are people interested in coming to help grow Avon Park. But if this veil, or whatever the blockage is that gets from the public to City Hall to the city council continues, the city is going to keep going backwards. It keeps going backwards. It does not help. Another thing is, for instance, the grant situation. I haven't even put in my grants yet because of all the things, people say, I take it, with a grain of salt and everything, but if house grants are having issues, what makes me think that me being a business, especially with a monstrosity building, that I'm even going to get the chance to even show that or show why I should get one if I even need one? These things have to be remedied. There has to be some type of accountability, there's not that it has to be, there should be, from the public doing what they're supposed to do to City Hall, to the city council. Everybody has accountability. And without that accountability, it doesn't matter. It's chaos. It's nothing. It's nothing. And I'm not trying to belittle anybody or call anybody or do whatever. I'm here for the city, period. I'm not political. I'm not anything like that. I don't need to make a name for myself. I've been here long enough. Everybody already knows me. So I don't need to do any of those things. I just want to do the things that are right for the city. And it's sad that I have to sit up here and cry over something that's zero cost to the city and zero liability to the city without even getting a chance to discuss what it is. It's sad. So in front of everybody, I only have 5 minutes. All I'm asking is, can I be placed on the agenda to show the proposed project for that property on 101 West Main Street so that the public and the city council has a chance to view it and then make a decision? If you guys say no, then it's no. But at least people should have the opportunity to do that.
Okay. So the proposal that you submitted, was it to build a building on 101 West Main?
No.
Okay. Was the RFP that was put out, was it for someone to build a building on West Main?
No. Nope. It clearly does not say that on there.
Yes, it was.
I know for a fact that was the intent of the council.
Who writes the RFP? Who writes the RFP?
We have one that says that it is in there.
The response that I received 90 days later is an excerpt from the RFP that clearly states what you guys want. Okay?
Do we have a copy of the RFP?
With that RFP, I took that specific excerpt to write this.
Okay.
Took it 100%.
Okay.
And when you get an answer that says, this is not something that the city wants, and if the city wanted it, they'll build it themselves, unacceptable.
Okay.
So the people make decisions. The council makes decisions.
You do realize that the council put out the RFP for someone to propose building a building there?
Who wrote the RFP? I do this for a living. I'm asking a real question. Who wrote the RFP?
I don't know who physically wrote the RFP. Did you? Did Christian? Who?
No, it was actually Andy Mogul, and it went in front of every one of you, and you saw it, and you deemed what you wanted in the building. There was not only build a 2-story building, but also say what, it listed the actual businesses, probably 50 of them.
Right.
And those 50 businesses that were listed, unrealistic. It was copied and pasted from a large city.
The point is that there was an RFP that was put out. Your proposal did not meet the criteria of the RFP.
On what grounds?
On the grounds that it was supposed to be for a building. That was the intent.
So you're telling me that the RFP, which clearly states a mixed use Mixed use. Doesn't say building, it doesn't say anything.
It's commercial mixed use. It's C4, like all of our downtown.
Yes. And what I'm proposing is mixed use. And it brings organic
Well,
foot
you missed the
traffic.
entire point, sir.
No, not at
The
all.
entire point. The point was the council put out for an RFP to solicit bids or interest in someone putting
the
a
RFP?
building there. And the
It does
reason.
not- it does not
okay,
mention a
You can
building.
argue with me like an idiot, or you can just understand that since how I was there, okay?
No, it's okay, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm still the educated one.
Are you? Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
It does, it really doesn't
okay.
show.
Yes.
But
Mr.
listen, hold on. Whenever there was a building there, it was the old Wild building, right?
I understand that.
The Wild building got torn down.
Please show me in the RFP where it says that the city wants a building, please. Please, I would like to see
I
that.
see that you're not going to listen to any kind of reason.
That's not reason.
So
I asked
also,
a
you said that
question.
you were scared to submit something to the CRA?
To waste my time like I'm wasting my time on this project.
Okay, well, we've approved, I would say 99% of all CRA requests, so the fact that you didn't submit your proposal means nothing.
It does.
It doesn't.
It does because you can't even answer
You
the
interpreted
question.
something that isn't real. You in your own brain came up with
Interpreted
that.
something that wasn't real. Can you please show me
Christian-
on the RFP where it says that the city requires a building to be built on that property, please?
Okay.
The attorney's here, the
Do we-
city manager's here, and I'm asking a question. Why can nobody answer my question?
Okay, my point is, regardless, you turned in something and he said it was not filled out per whatever the RFP. If I were you, I would have said, okay, if I didn't, if my project did not fit that specific criteria and nobody turns in anything for the RFP, could I have an opportunity to come to the council, show them my idea, and then
I just asked.
No, and then if we want to change the RFP,
I just asked that.
you're not listening to what I'm saying. And then if you're open to changing the RFP so that my project would fit the criteria in the future, I would be happy to submit it. But instead, you went around making accusations.
Not at all.
Yes, you did, because you made them to me, sir, for 2.5 hours.
That's not
Yes, you
accusation.
did. Yes,
It's
it
the
was.
truth.
You
There's a-
said, I
there's
did,
a
I'm not
RFP.
finished yet. You
Okay.
said, I turned in an RFP, Andy Mogul rejected it, but I know it wasn't Andy Mogul, it was the city manager. Because he
Absolutely,
just didn't want to hear anything I said.
Correct.
It was my project didn't meet the criteria, now I got my feelings hurt, and I need to go, you
Has
did,
nothing
and
to
you
do
went
with my
around and
feelings
you
get
started
hurt.
spreading garbage.
If I'm gonna
You
sit here-
started, I'm not finished yet. You
I-
started
to me, you
spreading,
are, because I don't need to listen to that.
you
Because you're
started
sitting here
spreading
telling me what I'm
garbage for
doing.
2.5
Was it?
hours.
Was it?
It was garbage.
Was it?
Yes, it was. To me, for 2.5 hours.
Can you
Yes.
please show me where on the RFP it says that my project cannot be built? Because you keep saying that, but there's no proof. Tell me.
I'm not arguing whether or not it could be built. I'm arguing with how you handled the situation, because you handled it poorly.
No, I didn't.
You
I
did handle it
handled with
poorly.
every right
Rather than
public
coming
person,
before the
I
city
spoke to
council,
every single
rather than
city
coming
council
before
member
the
the way I can,
rather than coming before the city council,
which I am,
and now, after running your mouth for how many days?
running my mouth.
Yes, to me. For how many months?
Right.
If you were the businessman that you say you are, sir, if I were you, I would have come to the council and said, people on the council, city manager said my RFP did not fit the criteria. Could we check into that? If it does not fit your current idea of what should be on that property,
My
can I
current-
still propose this project
My
so that
current-
maybe you will want to change your criteria for the RFP so that my project will fit in it in the future?
May I speak?
But you wanted the property for $1
May I
to put
speak?
in a park
May I speak?
for $1.
May I speak? May I speak? As I said before, it's not just my project. It's a free project that we will pay for. We will pay for. I
With
don't
the
ask
city giving you the property for $1.
Not me. I don't own it personally. It's a Rotary project.
There's no information on that project that says anything about the Rotary.
Now-
You told me Rotary.
Can I finish?
But I don't see it anywhere on that
May I
project.
please finish? May I please finish? Now, when a person comes and tries to explain something, I did the most respectful thing and to sit with every single city council member personally Whether you believe me or not, whether you think I'm a fraud or not, that's your choice. You're one of 5, not just you. Just like there's one city manager, one mayor, you are your own person. It's your choice. The same way it's my choice to sit up here and tell you, tell her, tell him, and tell her how I feel. That's why I asked
Absolutely.
to be on the agenda. Okay.
Absolutely.
But for you, as a city council member, to sit here and accuse me or tell me how I was acting, that's great. That's your opinion. That's your opinion. You can have it. But the fact is, there's nothing on that RFP that tells me that I can't build a free park for the community. Free. Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
Can I interrupt here real quick? I think the easiest solution to go forward here is I would like to invite you to be on the agenda for the
Thank you.
next meeting, to bring your proposal, and then have either the city manager or the city attorney to say, answer his questions. And then, if, like Brittany says, if the RFP is not exactly what he thinks it is, then I'm ready to listen to his options and how he'd like to make changes to see if the city council as a whole would like to vote for what his proposal is. So I ask that you put him on the agenda for the next meeting.
I'll take that as a motion.
Okay?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Okay.
Can't you take care of that?
Yep. Yeah, so just to be clear, nobody has ever been opposed to someone proposing something to the city.
Absolutely not.
But the form in which it was done was completely disingenuous, and it was wrong. It could have been done so much easier. It could have been done in a very friendly, a very positive way, but instead, it wasn't. It chose the worst way you could possibly do it, really. So.
In your opinion,
And-
sir,
yep,
yes.
But your time's done, bud.
In your opinion,
Your
yes.
time's done. So Jim,
Yes.
you were sitting here whenever we voted to put out the RFP, right? Right?
I believe so.
You were. So whenever we tore that building down, there were some people that were upset that that building was torn down, right?
I believe so. I know
And the
I
intention of the
wasn't. I know I
council,
wasn't.
the intention of the council at the time was we put out an RFP for someone to propose building a new building there because we had to tear that one down. People wanted to see a building there. That is the highest and best use of that property is for a building, a multi-story building.
Not true.
Absolutely is true.
Highest and best, highest and best.
Highest and best, that is true. The more development you can put per square foot is the highest and
When you
best.
have empty buildings already downtown, to
Listen, bud,
build
your
another building
time
is not highest
is
and best.
done. To argue that point is
That's fine.
idiotic, I'm telling you.
Just be more respectful, Mayor. Don't ever call anybody an idiot in public.
I didn't call you an idiot. I said
Yes, you did.
I said that you're being an idiot. You're arguing like an idiot.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, great. Jim,
Yes.
you remember that the council put out that RFP for someone to build a building there.
Let's say yes.
Okay, so if that was the intention of the council, why would you sit here and entertain the way that garbage was presented?
Wow.
You know good and well that the point was for a building there. So if it didn't meet the criteria, if you want to propose changing the criteria going forward, who is going to say no to that? Everyone would be open to that.
Okay, so let's let the man
It
come and
was-
speak on the
It would have been maybe a year ago.
We actually talked about, we had a long discussion about how we could put park benches and we could do this, that, and the
Right.
other. And
Yes.
everybody on here said, no, we don't want to spend the money on putting a park there
That's not
at
what I
this
said.
point,
I always want a pocket park there.
so that we could have
Yeah.
a building there. And,
The point was the only proposal
But that
of a
was what the
park
RFP
was for a
was.
pocket park as a placeholder to one day build a building there. In result, in 100 years, all of the property on Main Street needs to have buildings or it needs to be a designated park. We already have designated parks. We need more businesses. We need more people living downtown. We need increased density downtown. That's how downtown survive. We all know that. We all understand that.
Has anybody offered to bid on that property to build something?
No, but we knew at the time it could take 10, 15, 20 years. You can laugh if you want to. This is not an immediate game. This is a 100-year, 200-year game here. This is for the life of the city game. If you give this property away to a private individual, because that is what was proposed, a private individual using Rotary money, but to a private individual, whether there's a covenant or not, that's not what was proposed. you're never going to see a building there. So, just saying, it goes against exactly what the council put out there. Why the council members don't want to back that up, I don't know. I think it's political garbage. But anyway, so nevertheless, we have a motion and a second to hear it, as everybody wants to do. So is there any other questions on the motion? Okay, no further questions, please call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
No.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
No.
Motion passes.
All right, one more sign up, Mr. Stephen Madre. Name and address for the record and the microphone, please.
My name is Stephen Madre. I own Fitness for You, Avon Park, and Lake Placid. I have a thing I'm going to read here, but I want to say something as I've kind of heard a lot of stuff going on here. I'm from Avon Park. I've been here since I was 7 years old, and I'm 34 now. I graduated from Avon Park, so I have a big contribution to this town. I've been here all my life. Coming up here is something a little hard for me. I've dealt with a lot of stuff over the last year, and it's not been easy. But I felt like it was time for, to hear my voice. Not that I'm trying to put a bad name to Avon Park or anything like that. I just believe that intentions have been true on my part, and things. Oh, you want to laugh about it, Garrett? Okay. Well, then we'll get to it. All right. Since that's going to be. Residents and city council members of Avon Park, I'm here to express my deep concerns regarding the alleged misuse of power and self-enrichment from Mayor Garrett Anderson in relations to the acquisition of the Brickell Building in downtown Avon Park. It has come to my attention that Mayor Anderson, who is also employer of Danny Sauls, failed to disclose the critical information during the bidding process of the acquisition of the Brickell Building. This lack of transparency raises serious questions about the fairness and the integrity of this process. As a concerned business owner of Avon Park, I firmly believe in the importance of clarity, ethical conduct in our local government. It is deeply concerning to learn that the Mayor Anderson did not disclose his relationship with Mr. Sauls during this bidding process, potentially giving them an unfair advantage in acquisition of the Brickell Building, also Garrett's financial investment in the Brickell Building. The citizens of Avon Park place their trust in the City Council and the Mayor to act in the best interests of the community and to prioritize the welfare of its residents. We expect our elected officials to uphold the highest standards and integrity to avoid any conflicts of interest that may compromise the public's trust. I respectfully request that the Avon Park City Council launch a thorough and independent investigation into the acquisition of the Brickell Building. This investigation should focus on the lack of disclosures regarding the Mayor Anderson's relationship with Mr. Sauls, how the actions of Mr. Sauls reflects upon the Mayor Anderson, and the potential conflict of interest that may have influenced the bidding process. It is crucial that the investigation is conducted with the utmost transparency. If these allegations are found to be true, it would be a serious breach of public trust and a violation of the principles of our good government. It is imperative that the actions are taken, rectify and situations and restore trust to our local government. I urge the City of Avon Park Council to take immediate actions and address these concerns in a visible and accountable manner. Our communities are leaders who uphold the highest standards of integrity and ethics. I request that this keeps the residents of Avon Park informed about the progress and findings of this investigation. Thank you for listening. So.
Are you claiming that I did not disclose my relationship to Daniel Sauls?
No.
I did.
When? I was there.
At the meeting.
You had future business dealings with him.
Future business dealings?
Mm-hmm.
As we sat there in that meeting, I disclosed everything with my relationship with Daniel Sauls. That's why I abstained from the vote. Even though legally I didn't have to,
Okay.
I did abstain from the vote.
That's fine.
So for you to sit there, you know that.
So I'm sitting here, and
You-
did you fund any of it? I got a question.
Do you want to take back the video? Do you
Yeah,
want
let's
to
take it
the
back,
video?
but I have a question. Did
Okay,
you?
go ahead.
Did
Take
you
back the
fund
video.
it? I'm just asking.
You claim that I did not disclose my relationship to Daniel Sauls.
Past the
I did.
relationship part. Okay, so you did.
I have
What
a
about
question.
funding it?
I
I'm
did.
sorry, Mayor, this
Yep.
is for the mayor. Mayor, I specifically remember the conversation. Specifically remember asking you, how do you know Mr. Sauls? And you said that you have done past dealings with him in the past. So my question to you today, Mayor.
I said that he worked for me.
No, sir.
Mm-mm.
No, sir. No, sir. Your answer was, I asked you specifically, how do you know Mr. Sauls? And you said, you hesitated. If you go back on the tape, you will see where you hesitated. And you said, I have done past dealing with him in the past. That's what you said. So my question to you today, Mayor, was Mr. Sauls at the time and today your employee?
Yes. As was Stephen Medray. Stephen worked for me for years. Danny's worked for me for years. That was
I'm not
all
working for
disclosed
you
at the
now.
meeting.
Well, I don't think Mr. Stevens it is, I don't think he was buying the building. So here's my thing, Mayor. I got,
Well,
a package was delivered to me, like this thick.
I have no doubt that there was a prepared package delivered to
No,
you.
listen, if you give me a moment, Mayor. A package was delivered to me this thick.
Okay.
And I heard your sister Brittany say, you know, you're letting people talk, running their mouth, and you don't, I guess, go and, check it out. Well, I'm a good reader. I'm a pretty good reader. Have been for a long time. And when this package was delivered to me, they were text messages and email messages that came from your email, Mayor. Things that you said all in this package. You're threatening people and everything about the Brickell building, the finances, you asking for money and all of that. This is about the Brickell building.
About the building or
Yes,
fitness?
sir. Yes, sir. I got the package. I got the proof. So what Mr. Stevens is saying here, I got the proof, and I'm more than willing to produce it as evidence.
Go ahead.
That I would love for the city to contact the Florida Commission of Ethnic and conduct an investigation on the Brickell building, how it was sold, and if there's any way that you're involved in the ownership, the partnership, or the financing of it. Because the package clearly states that you are.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, Mayor, I got it. It was delivered to me.
You might think that's what it means, but it doesn't.
She's already stated her statement, so.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway, anything from Jerry at all?
Well, you've had one investigation before.
We can't hear you.
You've had one previous investigation since I've been here, and it was a fiasco. I don't know if you have personnel that can do investigation. If you're talking about independent investigation, you can do that if you wish.
No, Mr. Burr?
No.
No, not the city of
I don't think-
Avon Park. Not the city of this is a touchy situation. And I don't think the city of Avon Park should do their own investigation on their own mayor.
I said if you wanted somebody who's independent.
Well, there is. You change your mind about the independence, or you rather have the Florida Commission of Ethnic do, because they're the one that regulates us.
I wouldn't be up here if I didn't have it. I wouldn't just come out of here on a whim and take time out of being with my son and my wife. Want to say something? I didn't know if you wanted to say something.
you know?
I think you're a con man.
I'm a con man. Speaking to the mic.
I think you're a con man.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think everything that you said is disingenuine.
Okay.
I think that this is
So my question
100%
is, did
politically
you fund it?
motivated.
Because I remember you working there every day with me for 10 months.
And that's all I'm going to say about it. Anyone that wants
You
to
still-
contact whoever they want to contact them. Who
You
cares?
still have not
It's a
answered
free
the
country.
question.
I'm done with it.
I'm sure you are.
I do not own now, nor have I ever owned anything to do with the Brickell Building, period.
All right, make sure you got that on.
We did, Stephen.
All right,
All
Garrett.
right. Anything else?
What about my question, Mayor, about the investigation?
If you want to contact the Commission on Ethics, go ahead. Nothing's
No, I
stopping
want
you.
the city of Avon Park. I want the city of Avon Park to do their job. I put a motion on the table that the city of Avon Park contact the Florida Commission of Ethics to start an investigation on Mayor Garrett Anderson. I do not think that the Avon Park specifically should be conducting their own investigation. That's my motion I put on the table.
I wouldn't be up here if I didn't know it was true, so you can just take it as a grain of salt or however you want to take it, but I'm here to, you know, I wouldn't if I didn't have the proof, so.
Motion requires a second.
Is there a second?
I would make a second if I saw proof, and I haven't seen any proof. So unfortunately, I think at this time that this complaint should be between the two of you.
No, I don't see that, because
Your-
I'm going to
your
look at
time is
this.
done, Stephen.
Oh, I'm sure it
Your
is,
5
but it's
minutes is
not.
done.
So my question is, the building
Your
was.
5 minutes are done,
Oh, I'm
Stephen.
sure it is, Garrett.
Contact
Sure it
whomever
is.
you wish to contact.
I'm sure it
It's
is.
a free
So you mean to
country.
tell me I came up here and
It's a
said all
free
this,
country, and you've had your time.
and
Your time
the
is done.
city does nothing about
Your
it?
time is done.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I'll go
If you're
ahead-
so sure, it's done.
Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and second it, because if there's nothing to hide, there's
Now I'm
nothing to
done.
be found.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to do what exactly?
Contact. What I thought I heard was that she wanted to turn this over to the State Commission on Ethics.
Okay. And do you have any guidelines as to how?
Well, no, I don't have any guidelines on how that happens. It's usually done individually. I'd have to see, if if the motion passes, that I'd have to see how it's done by a commission. But,
So we have a motion and a second? Any other questions?
No, but I have a statement. I don't want everybody to feel like this is an attack on the mayor. If this
That's exactly what it is.
No, if there's nothing, listen, if nothing comes back, if there's nothing to hide, there's nothing to be found.
Okay.
Perfect.
So we'll just, if it's great, we'll sail through this investigation, everybody will be happy.
I would encourage you to talk to past council members of how previous investigations went.
it's a motion and second on the floor. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Comments? Seeing none, call the roll.
Councilmember McGuire?
No.
Councilmember McCure?
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bernard?
Without any proof, no.
Mayor Anderson?
No.
Motion fails.
All right, we have no more signups. That concludes our agenda. Anything else for the good of the city? Seeing none, we entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, please.
Seeing no opposition, we are adjourned.
Thank you.